Every single day, most of us are throwing away some of the best plant food nature has to offer without even realizing it. Banana peels, coffee grounds, veggie scraps. These simple kitchen leftovers are packed with nutrients that could be feeding your garden instead of filling your trash can. And the best part? You don't need fancy equipment, expensive fertilizers, or a science degree to turn them into powerful, natural food for your plants. All it takes is a few simple steps you can start today right in your own kitchen. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 easy ways to transform your everyday scraps into a thriving garden, saving you money, reducing waste, and giving your plants exactly what they need to grow stronger, greener, and more beautiful than ever. So grab a notepad if you like, or just relax and watch. Because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your kitchen scraps the same way again. Let's get started. Welcome back to Senior Green Thumbs, where gardening is made easy and fun for everyone. If you're ready to save money, reduce waste, and grow the healthiest plants on the block, you're in the right place. Here on this channel, we believe gardening should be simple, affordable, and rewarding, no matter your age or experience. Whether you have a backyard, a balcony, or just a few pots on a windowsill, there's always a way to bring a little more green into your life. If that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. Now, let's jump right into 5 easy ways you can turn everyday kitchen scraps into powerful homemade plant food. All right, let's dive right into the first simple, powerful way to turn your scraps into plant food. And it starts with something you probably already have sitting on your kitchen counter right now: banana peels. Bananas aren't just good for a quick snack or your morning smoothie. They're a powerhouse of nutrients for your garden, too. Inside that yellow peel, there's a treasure trove of potassium, phosphorus, calcium, and even a little magnesium, all vital elements that help your plants grow stronger and produce more flowers and fruit. Potassium, for example, is essential for helping plants develop strong root systems. It also boosts their ability to resist diseases, survive drought, and produce bigger, juicier fruits. If you've ever had a tomato plant that just didn't seem to thrive, or flowers that refused to bloom, chances are they were craving a little more potassium. And phosphorus? That's what helps with strong stems, vigorous flowering, and better fruit development, making it a must-have for anything from roses to peppers to berry bushes. So, instead of tossing those banana peels in the trash, or letting them turn brown and forgotten on the kitchen counter, put them to work in your garden. It's easy. Just chop the peels into small pieces. The smaller you cut them, the faster they'll break down and release their nutrients into the soil. I like to slice them into little squares about the size of a postage stamp. But honestly, even rough chopping will do the trick. Once you've got your peels chopped, dig a small trench around the base of your plant, just a few inches deep, and tuck the banana pieces right into the soil. Cover them up lightly, and that's it. As they decompose, the nutrients will slowly seep into the surrounding soil, feeding your plants naturally over time. It's like giving them a slow-release vitamin, straight from your kitchen scraps. And don't worry, when you bury them properly, banana peels won't attract pests or make your garden smell weird. In fact, you'll hardly even know they're there. But your plants sure will. This method is fantastic for heavy feeders, like tomatoes, zucchinis, squashes, and any flowering plants that need a little extra boost throughout the growing season. Simple, natural, and completely free. It doesn't get much better than that. Next up, let's talk about something millions of us use every single morning: coffee grounds. If you're a coffee drinker, you're already sitting on another gold mine for your garden, and you might not even realize it. Those used coffee grounds you usually toss into the trash, they're actually packed with nitrogen, one of the most important nutrients plants need to grow strong, leafy, and green. Nitrogen is like the engine behind plant growth. It helps build all that lush, leafy foliage we love to see, and it's especially crucial in the early stages of a plant's life when it's getting established. So, how do you use coffee grounds in the garden without overdoing it? It's actually really simple. First, Make sure you're using used coffee grounds, not fresh ones. Fresh grounds are still quite acidic, but once they've been brewed, the acidity levels drop significantly, making them much safer and more plant-friendly. Then all you need to do is sprinkle a thin layer of the used grounds right on top of your soil, around the base of your plants. Think of it like dusting sugar over a cake. Just a light, even sprinkle. No need to pile it up thick. In fact, too much can create a barrier that blocks water from soaking into the soil properly. Coffee grounds are especially loved by acid-loving plants like azaleas, hydrangeas, rhododendrons, camellias, and blueberries. They'll soak up that gentle nitrogen boost and reward you with stronger, healthier growth. And here's a little bonus tip. Coffee grounds can also help improve your soil's texture over time. They add organic matter, which makes heavy clay soils a little lighter and sandy soils a little better at holding moisture. If you have a compost pile, you can also toss your coffee grounds in there. They act as a fantastic green compost material, helping balance out your browns like dried leaves and cardboard. It's such an easy habit to start. Just keep a small container or bucket by your coffee maker, toss your used grounds in there every day, and when you're ready, spread them around your plants. A few minutes of effort, and you're giving your garden a big natural boost without spending an extra penny. Now let's move on to another everyday kitchen item. That's a secret weapon for gardeners: eggshells. If you're like most people, after cracking an egg, you probably just toss the shell without a second thought. But eggshells are actually loaded with calcium, a mineral that plays a huge role in plant health, especially for fruits and vegetables. Calcium helps plants build strong cell walls. Without enough calcium, plants can develop all kinds of problems, like stunted growth, weak stems, or even blossom end rot. That frustrating condition where the bottoms of tomatoes or peppers turn black and mushy before they're ripe. If you've ever experienced that, you know how disappointing it can be. The good news is, adding calcium back into your soil is super easy, and it doesn't require expensive supplements. Just use your eggshells. Here's how to do it. After you crack your eggs, give the shells a quick rinse to remove any leftover egg white or yolk. That helps prevent unwanted smells and keeps pests away. Then, set them aside to dry. You can air dry them on the counter, or if you're in a hurry, pop them in the oven at a low temperature for a few minutes. Once they're dry and brittle, crush them up into small pieces. You can use your hands, the back of a spoon, or even pulse them a few times in a blender if you want a finer texture. Sprinkle the crushed eggshells around the base of your plants, or lightly work them into the top layer of soil. Over time, the shells will break down and release their calcium into the ground, giving your plants exactly what they need to grow strong and healthy. Eggshells are especially helpful for heavy feeders, like tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and squash, plants that need a steady supply of calcium to produce good, solid fruits. And here's a little bonus. Crushed eggshells can also act as a natural pest deterrent. If you sprinkle them around the base of your plants, the sharp edges can help discourage soft-bodied pests like slugs and snails from crawling up and munching on your garden. It's such a simple way to put something you were already throwing away to good use, saving you money, improving your soil, and helping your plants thrive, all at the same time. All right, now let's talk about a bigger idea, one that pulls together a lot of the scraps you might have piling up: vegetable scraps for compost. Every time you cook a meal, there are bits and pieces left over: carrot tops, onion skins, celery ends, wilted lettuce leaves. Most of us just sweep them off the counter and into the trash without a second thought. But what you're really throwing away is pure gold for your garden. Vegetable scraps are packed with organic matter and nutrients that, when broken down properly, turn into rich, dark compost, often called black gold by gardeners for a reason. Compost feeds the soil, not just the plants. It improves soil texture, helps retain moisture, supports beneficial microbes, and provides a slow, steady release of nutrients that your plants can tap into whenever they need it. And you don't need a big, fancy compost bin or a huge backyard to get started. Even a small compost bucket under your sink or a simple pile tucked away in a corner of your yard is enough to make a difference. Here's a basic way to do it. Start saving your vegetable scraps in a container. You can even freeze them if you're not ready to compost right away. When you have enough, mix them with browns, like dry leaves, shredded newspaper, or cardboard, to help balance the moisture and keep things from getting too slimy. A good rule of thumb is to aim for about 2 parts browns to 1 part greens, like your veggie scraps. If you're working with a small pile, just toss the scraps and browns together. Give them a turn every so often to let air in and keep them slightly moist, like a wrung-out sponge. In a few weeks to a few months, depending on your setup and the weather, those scraps will break down into beautiful, dark compost that's ready to nourish your plants. You can mix it into your garden beds, sprinkle it around your container plants, or even brew it into a nutrient-rich compost tea for an extra boost. Not only are you feeding your plants naturally, but you're also keeping tons of kitchen waste out of landfills, which is a win for your garden and for the planet. And trust me, once you see how easy it is to make your own compost, you'll never look at kitchen scraps the same way again. And finally, here's one more simple kitchen leftover that can do wonders for your plants. And it might surprise you: rice water. If you cook rice at home, you know there's always that cloudy water left behind after rinsing or boiling. Most people just pour it right down the drain without a second thought. But that water is actually full of tiny bits of starches, vitamins, and minerals, like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, that plants can easily absorb. Think of rice water as a gentle, natural fertilizer, like giving your plants a light, nourishing drink. Using it is incredibly simple. The next time you rinse your rice before cooking, just save that first rinse water in a container. Or if you've boiled rice, let the leftover cooking water cool down completely first. You don't want to pour hot water onto your plants. Once the water's cool, use it just like you would regular water. Pour it around the base of your plants, soaking the soil lightly. Rice water is especially great for leafy greens, herbs, and houseplants, giving them a subtle nutrient boost that encourages healthy growth without overwhelming them. And because it's so mild, you can use it every week or two without worrying about over-fertilizing or burning your plants, something that can happen easily with stronger chemical fertilizers. Here's a little extra tip. If you want to take it one step further, you can even ferment your rice water by letting it sit in a loosely covered container for a day or two. Fermentation encourages beneficial microbes to grow, kind of like a probiotic for your plants, boosting soil health even more. Just be sure to use it while it's still fresh or lightly fermented. If it starts to smell really strong or sour, it's better to pour it into your compost pile instead. Such a small change in your kitchen routine, and yet it can lead to greener leaves, stronger roots, and happier plants, all without spending a single extra penny. And because I always like to give you a little extra, here's one more simple, powerful way to turn your kitchen waste into plant gold. Used tea leaves. If you're a tea drinker, whether it's black, green, or herbal, don't throw out those damp, used tea leaves. They're packed with gentle nutrients and organic matter that can boost soil health and give your plants a nice, natural lift. Tea leaves contain small amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the big 3 nutrients plants need for healthy growth. But even more importantly, they help improve soil structure, making it softer, airier, and better at holding moisture. That means healthier roots and ultimately healthier plants. Using tea leaves is just as easy as it sounds. After you brew your tea, let the used leaves cool down completely. Then, you can either sprinkle them directly onto the soil around your plants or mix them into your compost pile to enrich it even further. If you're using tea bags instead of loose leaves, just be sure the bag itself is made of natural materials. Some modern tea bags are made with plastics that you don't want breaking down in your garden. If you're unsure, it's safer to cut open the bag and just use the leaves inside. Tea leaves are especially great for acid-loving plants, like azaleas, blueberries, gardenias, and hydrangeas, giving them just the little extra boost they need without upsetting the soil balance. And just like with coffee grounds, moderation is key. A light sprinkle is plenty. You don't want to pile it on too thick because too much organic material sitting on the surface can create mold or slow down water penetration. It's a simple, satisfying way to reuse something you were probably going to throw away, and your plants will thank you with lush, vibrant growth. And here's another unexpected kitchen leftover you can put to work in your garden: potato peels. Every time you peel potatoes for dinner, you're creating a resource that's rich in nutrients like potassium, phosphorus, and magnesium, three powerhouse elements that your plants absolutely love. Potato peels are fantastic for boosting root development, encouraging strong flowering, and overall plant resilience. Plus, they break down pretty quickly in the soil, making their nutrients available faster than harder, woodier compost materials. Here's how to use them safely. After peeling your potatoes, you want to make sure the peels are clean, no butter, salt, or oils on them, just the raw, fresh peel. You can chop them up into smaller pieces if you like. That just helps them decompose even quicker. Then, bury the peels directly into your garden soil or add them to your compost pile. Just like with banana peels, it's best to tuck them a few inches underground to prevent attracting pests and to keep everything looking tidy. A little tip: if you're burying them near plants, scatter the pieces around rather than putting them all in one spot. That way, as they decompose, the nutrients spread more evenly through the soil. Potato peels are especially helpful for root crops like carrots, beets, and radishes, or really any plant that benefits from strong root systems. And just like that, something you might have thrown away turns into natural, free fertilizer, helping your garden grow healthier and more abundant without spending a dime. And here's one more kitchen scrap you might not expect: onion and garlic skins. Every time you peel an onion or crack apart a head of garlic, there's that thin, papery skin left behind. It seems like nothing, just dry and crinkly, but it's actually packed with minerals like potassium, calcium, sulfur, and magnesium. These elements are essential for healthy plant growth, strong cell development, and even natural pest resistance. Using onion and garlic skins in your garden is simple, and it can be incredibly powerful. One easy method is to collect the dry skins in a container over time. Once you have a good handful, you can do two things. First, you can add them directly to your compost pile. They'll break down along with your other greens and browns, enriching the compost with extra minerals. Or, if you want a quicker nutrient boost, you can make a simple onion skin tea. Just soak the skins in a bucket or a large jar of water for 24 to 48 hours. The water will absorb those minerals, creating a mild, nutrient-rich tonic for your plants. After steeping, strain out the skins and use the water to drench the soil around your plants, just like you would with regular watering. This homemade tea is especially helpful for giving a boost to leafy greens, herbs, and even flowering plants that need a little extra strength during the growing season. And here's a bonus: because garlic and onion are naturally high in sulfur, they can also help protect your plants by making the soil less inviting to certain pests and diseases. It's amazing to think that something as simple and small as a handful of papery skins, something we usually toss without a second thought, can turn into real, valuable nutrition for your garden. Another easy, free way to build stronger, healthier plants, right from your kitchen to your backyard. And there you have it: 8 easy, powerful ways to turn everyday kitchen scraps into rich food for your plants. With just a little effort and a little creativity, you can cut down on waste, save money, and build the healthiest garden on the block, all without fancy tools or expensive products. It's all about working with nature, not against it. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. And if you're new here, we'd love to have you join the Senior Green Thumbs family. Just hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a simple, practical gardening tip. Got a favorite kitchen scrap you use in your garden? Or maybe a new one you're excited to try? Let's keep the conversation going. Drop a comment down below. I love hearing your ideas and experiences. And if you're hungry for even more easy DIY gardening tips, be sure to check out the next video, where we dive into simple ways to naturally boost your soil health using things you probably already have at home. Thanks so much for spending a little time with me today. Until next time, happy gardening. And remember, even small steps can lead to big, beautiful blooms.